Hiya, my name is Alison Abbott, and today I'll be talking to you about the human nutrition and digestive system. During the presentation, I'll be talking to you about the structure and functions of the digestive system, the processes of mechanical and chemical digestion, including the optimum conditions of enzymes, and looking into two specific enzymes in more detail. Finally, I'll be explaining the constituent food groups of a balanced diet, including examples of their sources. The digestive system consists of the gastrointestinal tract or digestive tract and accessory organs, opening at the mouth, closing at the anus. The main functions of the digestive system are ingestion, digestion, absorption, and excretion. The food that's broken down and absorbed is used for energy growth and cell repair in the body. Food first enters via the mouth. The teeth tear the food into smaller pieces, and this is also known as mechanical breakdown. We'll go into that later. The tongue mixes the food with saliva during mastication, which is chewing, and it's rolled into a bolus. The walls of the pharynx constrict and push the bolus into the esophagus, which pushes the food down into the stomach by peristalsis. In the stomach, the muscular walls of the organ churn the bolus, mixing it with gastric juices, and these are composed of water, mineral salts, and enzymes. Intrinsic factor is used for the absorption of vitamin B and hydrochloric acid, which is very important as it kills bacteria and creates an acidic environment, ensuring the enzymes work better. It takes 2 to 4 hours for the process in the stomach to turn the bolus from a solid food into a semi-fluid, and this turns into chyme. It's then passed into the small intestine, where most of the digestion and absorption takes place. The small intestine is sectioned into 3 parts: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, and these aid the processes of chemical digestion, which we'll talk about later. Accessory organs play a vital role in digestion. So the liver produces bile, which is used in lipid digestion. That's the breaking down of fats into absorbable fatty acids. The gallbladder stores and secretes bile via the bile duct into the small intestine when needed. And the pancreas is a gland organ. It produces pancreatic juices called enzymes that are secreted into the small intestine via the pancreatic duct. The 3 main enzymes produced are lipases, assisting with bile for lipid digestion, pancreatic amylase for carbohydrate digestion, and pancreatic proteases for protein digestion. These enzymes will further digest the chyme into smaller molecules, allowing the nutrients to become suitable for absorption. This occurs in the small intestinal wall, which is the lining of the small intestine, and is comprised of finger-like projections called villi. These absorb most of the nutrients from the chyme and distribute into the bloodstream, and this process is referred to as osmosis. Certain foods are unable to be digested and absorbed, therefore the remaining chyme progresses into the large intestine, known as the colon, where they are mixed with good bacteria, aiding in further breakdown. The first part of the large intestine is called the ascending colon. Here begins the process of removing any of the remaining nutrients and water from the chyme. So now, as most of that has been absorbed, the chyme is thicker. It travels through the transverse colon and stores in the descending colon as feces, and it's ready to move through the rectum and excreted via the anus. So now we're looking into mechanical and chemical digestion. So food without the mechanical and chemical digestion is too large to be swallowed and digested. When food enters the mouth, the teeth bite, tear, and chew it to break it down into smaller pieces. The tongue rolls and mashes the food into a bolus, which is small enough to be swallowed. When the bolus reaches the esophagus, the muscles contract, causing involuntary swallowing, and this is called peristalsis. These are examples of mechanical digestion, and which is the physical movement of breaking down the food. Whereas chemical digestion, this uses enzymes to break down the larger molecules into smaller molecules, called catabolism, enabling digestion and absorption to take place. It begins in the mouth, where the salivary amylase enzymes are released within the saliva, creating lubrication for the bolus to be swallowed, and it also begins the breakdown of starch into sugars. There are many enzymes released throughout the alimentary tract, breaking down various fats and proteins, lactose, and starches into absorbable nutrients. So specific enzymes require specific environmental conditions like temperature and pH levels to be able to do their job properly. These are referred to as their optimum conditions. So the human body's temperature is approximately 37 degrees, and this is the ideal temperature for all enzymes to work at their best. If your body temperature changes, for example, if you have a fever, this can stop the enzymes working, which will disrupt the bodily functions. pH levels vary throughout the alimentary tract, meaning that enzymes working in specific areas will perform best at their environment's pH level. So for example, the stomach is more acidic, so has a lower pH. So there are many various enzymes within the body. So for the purpose of this presentation, I'll discuss just 2 examples of digestive enzymes. So the first one is pepsin, and this is the enzyme found in gastric juices, and that's secreted from the gastric glands in the stomach. The optimum conditions is a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius and a low acidic pH level of approximately 1.5. These powerful enzymes digest large proteins, such as meat and eggs, into smaller peptides, which is a chain of amino acids, which are either digested into the bloodstream via the intestinal wall, or they are broken down further by the pancreatic enzymes. Pancreatic lipase is secreted from the pancreas within the duodenum of the small intestine. The optimum conditions are a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius and a slightly higher alkaline pH of 8. These enzymes break down and digest dietary fats into fatty acids, which are easily absorbed into the bloodstream, providing energy, fat storage, hormone regulation and support of cell growth. So moving on to the constituent food groups of a healthy balanced diet, there are 5 key food groups. First, you've got fruit and vegetables, starchy carbohydrates, proteins, dairy and alternatives, and oils and fats. So starting with fruit and vegetables, we can see these are a great source of vitamins, minerals and fibre. They consist of foods such as bananas, apples, broccoli, carrots. Ideally fresh is best, but they can come frozen, tinned or dried. They're naturally low in fat and contain antioxidants, assisting with protection of cells in the body. It's recommended by the NHS that we eat 5 portions of a variety of fruit and veg per day, which contributes to a third of the food we eat on our plate. Starchy carbs, they're our main source of energy and high in nutrients, contributing to muscle growth and increasing concentration levels. They consist of bread, rice, pasta, potatoes and cereals, and they should again contribute to a third of your plate per day. Whole grain varieties of these products contain more nutrients than the white versions, so they make us feel fuller for longer as they release energy slower. Proteins are referred to as the building blocks of the body, required for cell, body, tissue and organ development. They consist of meat, fish, nuts, eggs and beans. Processed meats such as bacon and sausages and animal products in this group, especially red meat, can be high in saturated fat. So reducing these and opting for leaner options would be healthier, or ensure that the fat is cut off. As a guide, your daily portion of protein should be the size of the palm of your hand. Dairy products and alternatives like soya are an important source of calcium and maintaining strong and healthy bones and muscle contraction. They're also good sources of protein, vitamins and minerals as well. Examples of dairy are milks, cheeses and yogurts, and these are naturally high in fat. So options like skim milk and reduced fat cheese are still high in calcium and in nutrients, but lower in fat and sugars. Portions of dairy should be limited to 2 to 3 per day. So finally, the last group is oils, fats and spreads. There are 2 types of fat, unsaturated fats, which are healthier and include avocados, olive, sunflower, rapeseed oils, some nuts like walnuts and seeds like flax seeds. These should be consumed more than the other types of fat, which is saturated fat. This is butter and lard. Fat should be eaten in moderation, but it's still an essential part of our diet as it's a source of fatty acids needed for vitamin absorption in the body. Processed fats such as chocolate, cake and biscuits have no nutritional value and therefore should only be eaten as a treat. Finally, water is not part of the constituent food groups, but it is a fundamental thing for your body to survive. It aids with digestion, stops dehydration, eliminates waste, regulates body temperature, to name a few of its benefits. Although water can be absorbed by eating certain foods and other drinks like tea, water is the best source of fluid for the body and recommended a healthy amount to drink at 6 to 8 glasses per day. So this concludes my presentation. To summarise, we've covered the structure and functions of the digestive system, mechanical and chemical digestion, optimum conditions of enzymes, and the constituent food groups of a balanced diet. So to conclude, a healthy balanced diet is essential for the protection, growth and energy and development within our bodies. So thank you for watching my presentation and goodbye.